Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Very good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Mohammad Gauss, and today I will be a host presenting this webinar. And before I introduce our mentors, Mr. Murthy Adavi and Chandrashekhar Mukherjee, let me give a brief introduction about these two people. Mr. Murthy Adavi, who is an esteemed faculty member in emerging technologies and a distinguished expert in data science, analytics, and business intelligence. With an impressive experience spanning reporting, analytics, project management, and market research, Mr. Advi has been instrumental in driving data-driven solutions across various industries. Currently, he's serving as a faculty for emerging technologies at Wadhwani Foundation. He has also held key roles at leading organizations such as Dell EMC, Hewlett Packard, IBM, and Genpact, where he led analytics-driven projects and business optimization strategies. His technical prowess in SQL, Tableau, SAS, which we call as SAS, and statistical modeling has empowered businesses to make data-informed decisions. Today, we are privileged to have him with us. And before he take over it, let me also introduce one more mentor, who is Mr. Chandrashekhar Mukherjee. So very good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
It is with great enthusiasm that we welcome you, a highly accomplished HR leader with over 30 years of diverse global experience. You have been a strategic architect in talent acquisition, organizational capacity building, and HR transformation, making a significant impact across industries. Currently, you're serving as a senior president and CHRO at Bilosa Industries, a council member of GLG USC, and an advisory board member for multiple organizations guiding HR strategy and leadership development. Your impressive career includes pivotal roles at National Stock Exchange, Times of India Group, Colgate Palmolive, SREI Infrastructure, and South Indian Bank, where you've been pioneered cutting-edge HR practices, mergers and acquisitions, and digital HR innovations. Recognized at the World CHRO Conference and awarded for HR excellence globally, you're also a former national ranked table tennis player, proving your versatility beyond the corporate world. So it is our privilege to have you both on Eduinx platform to share your insights. And on behalf of our attendees who has joined today's webinar, I would like to welcome you both, and the stage is yours.
All right. All right, so let me start off. So one of the main things, I've been dealing with when I'm taking courses for the students of late has been their concern in terms of their employability. It's also one thing that kind of keeps me up at night of late. So my question is for you, Mr. Chandrashekhar.
Yeah.
So in the past 5 years or so, whatever we knew was whatever we thought was the absolute necessity of set of skills that was required suddenly seems to be completely unnecessary. People used to say programming is an absolutely necessary skill. Now there is no distinction between somebody who has 10 years of programming experience versus somebody who's just learning Python. They used to say creating PowerPoint presentations was a necessary skill. Anybody can create extremely good PowerPoint presentations using AI today. So it has been disrupted. The industry has been disrupted. It has made the field extremely level playing. So where do you think hiring is at this point? What are the kind of changes that hiring is looking at in terms of what are you looking at in people?
Yeah, so good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for having us over. I would like to put it this way that, technology has been the most differentiating factor. And technology is something that is a given skill. Like if you're playing cricket in yesteryears, if you were a bowler, if you didn't field well or bat well, you could still be in the team. But now, even if you're a good bowler, you still have to be a very good fielder, and you at least can bat to save your life, right? The same way, technology is part and parcel of every role that is there, and that's important. The only apprehension that people have and people talk about, I'm a huge fan of technology. The only difference only my mindset is slightly different in the way people talk about technology. I would like to put that technology is important. Because of technology, all mundane day-to-day routine activities will be taken over by technology and should be taken over by technology. So hence, if you want to be employable, you need to have skills that is not, you are doing work which is more than mundane and routine. Because for that, you don't need people, and you're not going to need people for that. And so that's going to be the biggest worry for people who are doing courses which may not add up to the skill sets that they have. But if I go by the three most important critical competencies that a person looks at when you're hiring a person, you look at the knowledge, your skill, and the attitude, right?
Okay.
So even today, attitude plays a huge role while hiring, okay? Which you talk about culture fit and things of that sort. So attitude is very critical, and that's something that today's generation needs to learn, relearn rather, because you are not focusing on the attitude aspect. Because if you look at yesteryears, people didn't have to go through finishing school after passing out the MBAs or engineering colleges, because they all had, in schools you had that. But today, anybody who joins, all the induction is based on, how to teach the person how to, do things in an appropriate manner. So the knowledge, again, it becomes a level playing field, because even if you're passed out from IIM and passed out from a tier 3 engineering college, after about a couple of years, it's a level playing field. You're a BE or B, that's it, or a whichever college. Skill is something that you acquire at various good companies that you work for, whichever company you work for. So the differentiating factor is the skill, and the multiple differentiating factors, the attitude that you bring to the table. Okay, that's the critical aspect. So in a nutshell, I'll say the difference that's happening is the younger generation needs to hone their skills, not only in the profession that they are, but if you're doing a course in marketing, how can because today digital marketing is big. So how you're going to sync that with that, right? If you want to, people are talking of AI, if you want to do AI, how you are actually, creating databases, data which is there. If, it's garbage in, garbage out, people may say, okay, fine, I need AI. But if I don't have data in my system, how I'm going to go and tell, for a sales guy, okay, if I don't put in data, and I'm just saying that's the reason organizations like Salesforce have their, software which says what to do, how to do, blah, 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 all that stuff. But people are still very reluctant to do that. They'll say, no, I can sell, I'm selling. But how can technology support you in selling is a critical aspect, because otherwise you will lose out in the game. So I'll leave it here, and, you're the expert. So
We're in the middle of the ocean, with no life raft whatsoever.
That's right.
So I would like to, extend that by adding two questions. So whenever we say attitude, right? Attitude is perceived by different people extremely differently. Can we ask 2 or 3 questions to ourselves and see if I have the right attitude? Can we kind of create a metric or a rubric which anybody can kind of use and say?
I'll give you a simple example.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yes, please.
I'll just simple example. When people tell me, how do you differentiate, appraisal process, okay? How do you do a bell curve? How do you differentiate? Again, it's a very easy method, okay? If there are 3 and you have a 4-point scale, below expectation, meets expectation, exceeds expectation, and demonstrates excellence, right? Now, all of them do a good work, right? All of them are doing good work. I'm fine with that. But below, all of us know what's below expectation. But what's the difference between meets expectation, exceeds, and exceptional? Demonstrate excellence. It's simple. If a person, for example, I have 3 people in my team, right? One guy, he does his work, does everything well. But if I need him on some other day, a weekend, stay back late, if I tell him, he will say, no, boss, I need to go back home, right? That's the first guy. The second guy, I have to nudge him a little bit, right? And the third guy just comes on his own. He knows that's his work. He knows, boss needs him, or the team needs him, the company needs him, he'll come. So that's an attitude. So three different simple, bare attitude of the person displays. So hence your ratings will differentiate. People who do things on their own, self-starters, do things on their own. And today's kids generation wants to go up the corporate ladder faster. But then you have to take the bull by the horn and, do things as if it is your own company. So that's a simple thing that's an attitude, differentiating the attitude. All are great guys, three brilliant performers, but three different attitude that they're displaying. So
Well, people are different in general. So some people are extra ambitious. Some people are happy with what they have. At the end, and at the end of the day, they are not doing anything to kind of damage or tarnish the company. So people have different levels of ambitions and different drives in life. Some people have a second part of their life which they value a little more. That happens on a regular basis.
So that's what I'm saying. When again, I always give this example, okay? For anything that you want in life, you need to sacrifice something a little bit.
Something else, yeah.
Let's say, for example, if I want to do well in my career, then I do a little sacrifice, a time with my friends or time with my family or time with some things, okay? So if I love my family, then I choose professions accordingly, or I tend to think how I'm going to go ahead in life, right? Because
Set expectations at home.
at home,
Set expectations at
everywhere.
home, set expectations at work. All
No,
of those things
everywhere.
have to be done.
And then
beforehand.
choose roles accordingly, right? I
Yes.
can't dream to be a CEO and then think that, that doesn't work. Or I want to be an
Right.
HR head, okay? And you can't. I'm just saying if I give a simple example, in my profession, HR, people think, I just was having a chat with somebody, I was counseling somebody, and senior HR professional. Today, people who take HR roles do not want to do ER, employee relations. Okay, they want to do talent management. They want to do all the fancy stuff. They don't want to do ER. Okay, but trust you me, that doesn't happen that way. Because even if I'll give an example, and I'm very open to the example. I was working in NSC, and NSC is a finance fintech company which has strong backing of technology, no workers at all, right? So intraday trading was something that is that is banned. You can't do trading, you can't do intraday trading. So we run programs, and we saw 3-4 engineers did it, and we asked them to leave. It is not a crime outside the organization, but it's not right within the organization. You have to leave. But trust you me, one person's father was whatever, and then there was a case put against us, and case, as luck could have it, SCST case against us. So it's an higher issue, and I had to handle it. So I can't say, and my boss is not going to handle, the board is not going to handle. I'm the CHRO, I have to run it. So you then choose roles, and if you want to become something, then you need to sacrifice many things in life. I'm just saying is, if a sales guy says, I can't take the pressure of numbers, sales is not for him.
Obviously.
So that is there. Profession.
And not everybody is lucky, like me, that they got to be at long stretches in companies like IBM and HP, where there is an entire system to take care of you and nurture you. So, I was lucky to be in those places, but a lot of times, you have to take your career as I said, by the horns, and you have to take it
No, but
down.
even if companies nurture you, you'll have to take your call. No, I'm just saying.
I also got a lot of chances where I was allowed to fail and then come back. A lot of times people don't get those chances.
Yeah, but
a lot of times people
all of us
don't get those
who
chances.
have reached the top have all got those chances. Very honestly, all of us have got those chances. Hence, we are there. All of us have made mistakes in life, and so hence, and the thing I tell my juniors, like my boss had told me, if you make a mistake, it's fine, but you have to learn to make new mistakes. You can't repeat the old mistakes.
Learn to make new mistakes, yes.
You can make the new mistakes. I'm fine with making new mistakes. The old cannot be
because at least we're exploring at that point.
That's right.
We're exploring and we're trying new things. And yes, sometimes it fails. We'll always come back. So another question that again, that keeps coming up in our classes of late is, we are able to automate so many things so fast. right? The agentic AI, the generative AI landscape. Even in my own organization, we are moving so fast and automating so many things which are completely considered unnecessary
Yeah.
right now, because a couple of years back they were the most important things. Now we can have AI agents absolutely replace them, and the quality of the output they're giving is much better than what any human could. And we are also seeing the recruitment you know trends and everything, even from our Indian companies. TCS, for example, is no longer recruiting. People are leaving TCS, people are getting laid off in TCS, but they are not being hired back. TCS, Infosys, Wipro used to be the bulk of the hiring process people. So now they are not hiring at that level anymore. They are hiring at a very, very small scale, and that too they are hiring people with really specific skills where they have to show some amount of headcount, and that is the only kind of hiring that is happening. So where do you see, especially with the economy kind of slowing down and everything, where do you see us heading?
No, so like I
Is the
said in the
market going
beginning,
to revive
no, that's why I
anytime
said,
soon?
no, so that's why I'm saying it's hiring will revive, but hiring, not doing mundane job. When you spoke about TCS, Wipro, these are
Mhm.
mass recruiters, and you know what projects they take.
Mhm.
So the projects that they take,
Right.
they were, basically giving bodies to companies, right?
Right.
Same companies don't need those bodies to do those jobs.
Right.
They have automated their processes. They're using AI. They are using all the tools available for them to get the jobs. And why do I have to pay? And obviously it's a business model. Okay, you're paying 3,20,000 or 4 lakh to a fan, and you're charging 12 lakhs or 15 lakhs to your customer. So customer knows that. So,
Right.
so the question is, so if I need to give advice to the youngsters, is you need to hone skills for you, for not for mundane roles. You need to hone skills for technical jobs which machines cannot do.
Right.
So for example, in HR, okay, although it is a difficult ask because people don't write their CVs appropriately, because very good candidates you lose because most of the people don't, because the language skills are the poorest skills. Okay, so organizations need to use technology as a complement and supplement, not as the main tool. So when you use it as the main tool, you lose it. For example, there are companies in HR use psychometry as a hiring tool and a rejection tool, which is wrong. Because language skills is the poorest skills of most people, other than people who are taking English literature or Hindi literature or Tamil literature or Malayalam literature, whatever that is. Then their language skills are strong. Other language skills are technically, a commerce student, a science student, his language skills are not as good. So if you don't comprehend it well, your results in a psychometry will not be perfect. Then rejecting a good guy is not. So hence what happens in progressive organizations where I work, like Colgate or NSC or Time, we use competency interviewing method to check those that was an input for me to ask valid questions, the STAR method. Yeah, situation, task, action, results. I use that as a method to ask questions using the tool. So the issue where people are fully dependent on technology, you will have a problem. So your human intelligence also has to be there. Technology cannot think. You look at even the surveillance that companies do. Okay, the cops do. The CID does, the IB does, or the agencies, the international agencies. So A is you use technology, but the human intelligence is something that you have to use. If there's human intelligence failure, you will have a problem. The latest war that is happening in a couple of places, it's sheer failure of human intelligence. Nothing to do with technology. No, nobody can beat Israel in technology. I'm sorry, I'm giving an example just to quote. I don't support anybody. I'm not,
Yeah, I mean, it's always a minefield everywhere these
yeah, so
days.
I'm just being very clear on that. I'm just saying is technology should be used, human, um, so inputs and human, intelligence is very important. Okay. The
Exactly. So that is where, the certain things that AI, for example, would not be able to replace is your ability to project manage, your ability to understand business processes, set up business processes, make them optimal, understand the customer. That is not something that AI is ever going to do. You have to understand your customers. You have to understand your market needs. Okay. And then come up with innovative ideas. You can always take the help of AI, but coming up with innovative ideas, products that people would need, that has to come from a human mind. AI can help you put together a PowerPoint presentation for that, but and create a imagery and everything. But the original idea still has to come from a human, right? And those skills are not going to be replaced. AI is going to take care of all of the every day-to-day, as I said, mundane activities, your emails and your chats and PowerPoint presentations, those kind of things will be automated. But the only problem that is coming is this time, the technology that is disrupting basically everything. It is disrupting the top end jobs, being able to code, being able to do solution architecture, being able to run an engineering division. These are the skills that AI can replace. So either the top engineers have to completely come up with something new, or have to scale up thousands of times to make themselves relevant. Right. So that is something that is happening. And we don't expect the market to grow up 1,000 times in this short span of a time. Sure, eventually in the future it might happen, but I don't see that happening right away. In fact, all markets are they're going down, they're shrinking, they're collapsing, right? So where do you see job markets kind of going in this kind of a scenario?
See, there are
I mean,
certain,
people always say this, I understand. The
but
markets are always bad every time.
everybody, see, when .com came in, you had people
They said the
thought
same thing, yeah.
when telecom came in, people
2008.
thought that. So every phase of business cycle, you will have a cycle of growth. Then you'll have a consolidation cycle and shrinkage. And then, for example, when technology companies, so let's take telecom companies, when it came, suddenly you had 10 companies, right? And then when consolidate came to 4, 5, now it's come to 3, 4 companies. So it comes to that. And then it'll, stabilize. So it is, every business cycle is bound to happen there. Today, technology is going through that because technology has used, like the companies you said, used human beings as commodity, right? And they were doing mundane jobs which are outsourced, right? I'm just, for example. So hence those jobs now machine can do, and machine can do it better, for sure.
Much better.
Because you don't need an intellect. It's not like, for example, you may use AI or technology to shortlist CVs, right? Fine, you can do it. I may still think that some good CVs may fall through, but that's fine. But AI cannot interview, because for AI cannot interview because the questions that I ask, okay, in the CV, it is mentioned he's done the 2 years course and how he's done, what is his personnel, how he's done, understand his projects, understand his behavior, how blah, blah, blah. There's so many things that you ask, okay? Or whether he comes from a certain background, or whether he's, for example, a great guy comes from Gadchiroli, okay? How will AI find out whether he has a certain bent of mind, which is disruptive to the organization? You cannot.
And often professionals are not already born. They have to be built, right? You have to get them into the organization. You have to imbibe them with their culture, and you have to show them what is this company going towards. Then in a few years, you might find 1 or 2 out of a crop of 100. Right. So that is how all major companies, that's why they recruit from colleges. They want to get them young. They want to make them understand their culture. And then maybe there is 1 in 100 who is on the path to leadership. Right. 1 in 100, 1 in 50. Usually, if you go from decent colleges, which have had their own histories, you identify 1 or 2 people whom, if you groom sufficiently, can make it to the leadership track. That is where most of the recruitment happens. Many of them, they try in the beginning because when you're young, you also happen to have a lot more potential.
Yeah.
When you have 20 plus years work experience, you are set in your ways, you are unlikely to change. You may change, but the probability of that is very, very less. Right? But when we are coming from college, you are getting recruited, potential is infinite. You can be molded, you can be inspired, you can be pushed sufficiently to get the most out of you. And some people just pass that fire test very well, and they kind of make it, right? So another thing that is coming through of late is the number of videos that have been, kind of disturbing videos that have been going through about recruitment, that there are a lot of job postings on your LinkedIn and Naukri.com and those are things which are not even true, right? So there are people constantly applying. I used to, for example, apply for about 15 or 20 jobs and used to get 1 or 2 interviews. Now it is probably 200, 300 applications and still no callbacks. I don't know what the situation is, and I have seen that happening to many people. A lot of times it is just a button you're hitting. Your CV is going to that company, but you're never hearing back anything from them. So, is there anything else that is happening that we don't know or we should know?
No, so the thing is, the way West is working versus what in India happens, okay, there's a slight difference. In US, because both my kids are there and things of that sort, so, or in Europe, LinkedIn and sites like that does generate opportunities for you, okay?
Right.
India, it is still not caught up, it is relatively not as much, right? But because of various reasons and because the way, do you get good candidature, and also depends on various positions that you are, right? For example, when I was a CHR and I have hiring seniors hiring to never happens through a LinkedIn. Never ever happens through LinkedIn. Cannot happen because the guy will not apply, will not speak, will not do anything, right? So there are levels also. At the junior level, yes, you can still do, but again, that's a huge pain of verification. Today's day and age, that's a big challenge. So, and the laws in India are still pretty loose. So hence people still are dependent on through consultants, your CV is coming through consultants, through headhunters and things of that sort, because they vet, they verify, they do things, there's some amount of things in. And
So those people are still relevant.
they're still relevant, and they're going to be in
Okay.
India, they're going to be relevant. At the senior level, across the world, they are relevant. The Conferees of the world and the Egon Zenders of the world are the guys who will get you the people, because they are doing a 360-degree appraisal of you and getting the candidate on board. Okay,
Right.
I don't have to talk to 20 candidates. He'll give me 4-5 CVs, and among that 4-5 CVs will be the good ones that I can shortlist and select, and because they're marrying each other's competencies which are there. So the question is how people look at it. There are changes, there'll be changes, but it is not as bad as people are speaking about or saying that. Okay, for let me give an example. When people, and you guys you would know better, because I was in a same Zoom seminar during the COVID. Okay, I wouldn't name the company, and this was a big one of the big tech companies, CHRO, and she was very clear, and her fundas were very clear. This is now to stay, work from home, blah blah blah, all that stuff. I said that cannot happen. I went out of the line to say that at that point of time, because people thought I was mad. But the reason I'm saying that, again, like what you rightly said was, in any training that we do, what do we say? You learn when you hear something. You learn something more when you hear and see. And your maximum learning is when you hear, see, and do. Right? So I can do certain programs on web, but there are many programs that I can't do on web. It has to be face-to-face. I have to talk to a person. I have to understand that person. Okay. All that we have learned, for example, if I'm doing a video conferencing and an interview, is not as great as a person sitting in front of me, because I've been taught to, whenever an interview candidate is there, is to look at his gesture, posture, movement, right? And in organizations, in multinationals that I work for in Colgate, we used to also have HR interview rooms, used to be glass cabins, okay? And if I'm interviewing the candidate, there would be one person who is expert. After giving the person OPQ 32, he has the score. he or she has the score. And from that outside, I'm also judging his gesture, posture, movement, and she or he is also looking at his gesture, posture, movement, everything.
Right.
Because if a person is saying something about what he or she has done, you can validate to a great extent by his actions, reactions, postures, movement, whether it's fidgety, not fidgety, right, wrong, which you can't see through a video conferencing. Right now, you
Right.
can't see my, unless I move my hand like this, you can't see where my hand is, when I'm clutching or fidgety or whichever way. My face expression, I can still manage.
Yeah.
So those things are there. So the question is, technology, my brief point is technology should be used as a supplement, complement, as a support, huge support, and more support, no two ways about it. Okay. But that's cannot never be. So hence, people will have jobs, or the only type of jobs will change. It will go to high-end jobs, better looking jobs. So right now, the reason the jobs have shrunk, because of every organization is consolidating. Every organization is now using technology to do away with all mundane activities. Every company is doing process reengineering. Every company is looking at costs, right? So he's looking at process reengineering, looking at how to do, whether, two roles can be done by one person, things like that. So all that stuff is happening, right? And that's where, like you rightly said, youngsters are doing well. People coming fresh out of colleges are better coders than, people who are there. If you look at,
Been for 15, 20 years, I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't take 15 years to learn programming anymore.
that's right. So they're
It
doing
takes
well.
a couple of months.
Months, and it looks like it also because of your, I should give that example, and people are here. So when I used to work for NSC, so we had, Mr. Ravi Apte as our CTO, who's supposed to be among the tech guys, a god, because he created Coastal. He's the first Indian to be CTO of Citibank and New York Stock Exchange. So he brought a candidate, and NSC were very strict about it. We need engineers. Okay. And we used, we had Israeli firms on board to see whether it can hack, because NSC being an organization where there's so much of, interference and people want to hack us. Okay. So we are hiring an ethical hacker for
Lots of money to be made, right?
Yeah.
One
ethical
breach
hacker.
and you can be a millionaire overnight.
So he brought me a homeopath doctor who can hack. And actually did a better job than, everybody who were there. I said, okay, fine, let's have a, competition
very
and then
interesting.
select. And he did it. He was better than all the goddamn engineers, even from IITs. Because that's his passion. He loves doing that.
That is quite surprising, actually.
He loves doing that. And
Somebody who doesn't have a mathematics background actually coming in and being able to crack such elaborate codes, that is quite surprising.
I'm just saying, you find people of that sort. I'm just saying it's again. So that's something like, it's like, you don't have to be in 40-year-old to play cricket. If you're 10, 12-year-old and you're brave enough to face 150 kilometers ball, you can play it. So youngsters can do it, and because youngsters are also willing to work hard,
They don't have the fear yet.
That's
The
right.
fear has not set in yet.
That's it.
They can take chances that an older person probably won't. That is an important thing too.
The only other advice I can give, which I see in today's generation, which has come in, people do not want to leave their place of location, location of stay, which is very detrimental for their growth.
You have to take chances.
Which is not right. So even if an organization which has multiple offices, people don't want to leave. If you're in Hyderabad, you want to go to Bangalore. If you're in Bangalore, you don't want to go to Chennai. You don't want to go to Delhi. You don't want to go to this place, which is, again, very detrimental. You lose out. You lose out on chances because
it's also the right time to get your experiences, right? I mean, you won't get those experiences once you're older. You get to meet people and everything when you're young,
And that's what, again, you get your leadership experiences also, no?
You get your leadership experience, you get your people experience.
Because
you work with different cultures, different types of people.
That's right. So when you become a leader, then you can handle everybody, no?
Yeah.
So
all of these things are, tacitly teaching you something or the other. Absolutely. Every experience, every interaction is teaching you a little bit about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're coming towards the end of it. So there is one thing that I always talk about in my classes. I say that, people are not hiring for specific skills. You're hiring people because you want to build a team. So I hire people. I don't hire skills. Okay, so that is one way I do hiring. So if I have to add somebody to my team, when I get the thing, I am okay if the person is not 100% at the technical aspect, but I want to see some kind of an indication about how they are likely to be part of the team. Are they going to be a cohesive unit of the team? Are they going to become a good addition to the team? Are we going to be, is he going to be one of those persons I can rely on? Can the rest of the team rely on him? So those are the things that I would value a little more, because the technical skills, I can always put him on a course and get it done. That is not the, if he has the basics, I am okay with it. But the
Brilliant.
other skills are a lot more important. Also, when I'm hiring somebody, I need to know that if he is going to be with me for the next 3-4 years,
That's right.
am I investing my sufficient amount of time with him or not? Right. So the values and the kind of uh, subtle hints that the person is giving, I look for those rather than look for their skills. They might be doing extremely well, but if he is going to take my job and leverage it for another job within 2 months, he is not that useful to me. It's just wasted time for me, probably a lot more work for me. I want somebody who is stable. What do you think about that? As you said, attitude, right?
No, that's right. I was just going to say, you see, what you are doing and what you are, saying is just the right thing. And honestly, I should commend you for that, because in my 40 years of working, I do not come across many people who think that.
Right.
That's the exact thing. You hire for attitude and train for skills.
Train for skills, yeah.
And the only time I would look at a person's knowledge if I'm hiring a person for my replacement or one level below me, because he or she has to have the knowledge, right? Knowledge and attitude, knowledge, skill.
There is some basic knowledge that is required.
Yeah,
I'm not expecting them to be the best or anything.
So that's where I've always had this argument with my line manager, especially if I'm going to campuses. I hire for attitude and train for skills.
Right.
If he has the attitude and is willing to learn, that's it.
It's easy, yeah.
He or she is the best person candidate for me, because that's the right thing to do. And that's the best method. Okay. And whenever I go to campus, that's what I tell people. You have to make yourself employable, having the right attitude. And if you have the right attitude, you will always excel in life. There's no way that you can lose. Okay.
Right.
And when the company goes through a bad time, if you look at it, who are the people fired first?
People with a wrong attitude. I mean,
Wrong attitude.
you're just not a very likable person. So if I have to let somebody go, I send out the person I don't like very much.
Yeah, who doesn't have the right attitude. I'm just saying, even if I'm unbiased, okay, it's the person who doesn't have the right, or because of him, you lose. So that's where I always keep saying, this is to add to what you said. When I'm promoting people, okay, promotion, what companies do, the biggest mistake, you promote the best performer, okay, but actually you promote a person who actually has the right managerial and leadership skills and performance. Performance is not first. Performance comes after your thing. Because I'm taking two people equal performance or somebody's better performance, I'll still not select him if he doesn't have the leadership or managerial skills. So what happens when I lose two good people? It's like when I promote a foreman to a manager, right? If he doesn't have the right attitude, then I lose two people. I create
different skills. Doing a task and making somebody else do the task are very different skills.
Two different skills. So, but people tend to
there is some overlap, but it is not the whole thing.
Yes. So people tend to promote people. So hence, when you put the PP grid, a performance potential grid, I will promote a person with potential. He may have high performance, but performance is not equal to potential.
Also.
So I'm just saying
I remember Harsha Bogle has had something to say about, why Tendulkar failed as a captain. He said when Tendulkar was on the field, he would think in like 100 different ways. Now, when he became the captain, he is expecting everybody else to think the same way. That doesn't happen. You need somebody else. You need somebody else who could think like every other player. How can I make the entire cohesive unit take it to the next level? That is why Tendulkar failed as a captain, but he was, as an individual, an extremely, one of a kind of a player. Right. So that was one thing that I always remember.
Murli,
please.
One point, sorry, just one point which
Yeah.
I wanted to, because this group should also know, which my experience tells me, like in sports, okay, we've been speaking of technology and we've been saying mundane work will be taken over by AI, computers, technology, blah, blah, blah. But if somebody wants to go up the corporate ladder, he should also know how the computer is doing that mundane job.
You need to know the process.
You should know the process. Okay. And the example I can give you is, and all Indians are cricket lovers. Okay. So whether it's Sachin Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly, Ricky Ponting, anybody. Okay. I'm just, because if it was an open forum, I would ask questions, but that's okay. I'll give the answers directly. All of them, the first job that they have done when they became before they became great players, their first 12th man, they picked up the boots and the water bottles. Okay. And when they got in the team the first time, they never fielded they fielded where? Furthest from where they have to throw. Third man.
Third man.
Or in
Fine leg.
long leg, fine leg, all those places where they have to run, get ball, Only for an expert, you field it in slips, or forward shorted, backward shorted, where they'll be beaten by the ball. That ball will hit
You
you.
have to prove yourself to come very close to the slips or something.
That's right. So I'm
You have
just
to prove yourself first.
which I want others to also realize is, because I am doing higher intellect work, I don't look down upon on the mundane job that is done, because that's important. That is equally important, the understanding the process. Because others, what happens is, as a leader, then people can make a fool of me if I do not know how the process is handled. If I do not know what happens. Okay. Then
And more importantly, where is the money coming from? Dhanda kya kaise chal raha hai?
That's right.
Where is the money coming from? Where is it getting spent? Do you know that? Do you understand the product? Do you understand the customer?
That's right.
Do we know these things? Because those things, AI can't make a difference. It can spill out words, but it doesn't understand. You and I understand what the customer is, what do they like. We can have a debate on it.
That's
We
right.
can have a debate on what the customer might like. And we might agree to disagree, but there will be some progress early. So that is some part which AI will not be able to probably replace.
That's right.
All right. So let's open it up for questions. It is about 45 minutes already been speaking. So we have one question. So anybody who has a question, I'm not sure if they can speak, but you can definitely put it in the chat. I will read it out. So somebody is asking, Mohammed is asking, how about viral posts saying remote jobs, etc.? Are there any secret places apart from LinkedIn where special jobs come in? I would let you answer that.
No, but see, there are certain jobs that especially people in technology companies can do remote jobs, the coders, coding and all that stuff, which is there. People are doing. I'm just saying that is mainly, but there are certain companies that I advise, but those jobs again become expensive because the guys somehow ask you for more money. I don't know why, but that's how when startups do that. Okay, you're saving cost on
Easier to replace them, right? So
place
one
them,
task
you're
pays
saving
them
on
and
infrastructure cost and all that stuff. So basic stuff, and they may not be a permanent sort of job. So you need it for 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, and you use the person, and then the person goes. But slowly, that shall also reduce. Okay, it will be more a part of your HR benefits that you have, that you're working from home, that you will have. So that's something COVID has done very good for all organizations. Previously, organizations were not considerate about work-life balance, were not considerate about somebody had problems at home. But technology companies have shown that. So instead of losing a good employee, why not give him, if for instance his father's got terminal illness, you can give him that he can work for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months from home, and he can still work. He may not be at 100% efficiency, even if 85%, but he's a great guy, potential. I need him to stay. And when an organization takes care of an employee when he's in a bad situation, he will always stick with it. That stickiness will always be there. So yes, so I would rather use work from home for helping employees who need it for various reasons. Today you need nuclear family. Today is a Women's Day. The women will need it. A lot of women need it because they can't. When you're nuclear family, you can't expect your mother, father.
especially cost rising so much.
Yeah,
You
so
need
much.
2 incomes, yeah.
Yeah, you need, and that lady needs that, and so you should allow her to, after the 6 months of whatever maternity leave, you should allow her some time to whichever way the policies are. So you can.
It's about choice. If she wants to stay back with the baby,
Yeah, I'm saying.
perfectly fine.
So
Yeah.
you can
She
use that
wants to
work
get back
from
to
home
work.
as remote working as support.
Right. So Manoj is asking, is the IT sector slow down due to tariffs or any other potential reasons? I think it's a lot of things. It is AI coming in as a technology. It is about general slowdown. We have had, COVID has its shocks. And, I don't know, I would let you answer. There
Yeah,
are many reasons.
many reasons, and there are some reasons where many companies have invested in so many products that they want. They thought it will fancy products. They have disbanded the fancy products, so they have repurposed those people to roles which are there. So then those vacancies have got shut, so the others are not taken. So there's lots that is happening, and I guess it's not only because of too many reasons. I don't think tariff as of now has hit them anyway, but so it's got multiple reasons and.
It is the expectations from the tariffs which has hurt us a lot more than what exactly might happen.
Yeah.
When they hit. So yeah, so there are many reasons. There is no one particular reason, and there is also possibility that we are seeing a burst of a bubble or something. Maybe some companies were extremely overvalued and they started correcting themselves to the right amount of valuation. So a whole lot of things happen, but these are common things. Life is long, and we will see that this will also recoup, and we will have boom sometime again. When it is boom, you have to make hay. When it is a recession, you have to be careful and you have to protect whatever you have. That is the game that has to go on.
And keep upskilling yourself. That's it.
And is there a right age to switch careers, or can career transitions happen successfully at any stage of life? I am not switching my career at 40. I'm almost 45. There is no way I'm switching my career unless it has
so my answer is
a lot of
simple.
money
If you're in
something.
India is price sensitive and age sensitive. Okay. Western world, it is not age sensitive. It is more to do with performance and potential that you have. But India somehow is very, very age sensitive. So I would strongly urge people who start getting on the wrong side of 40 should be very careful.
You should be careful. Yeah.
Very careful. India doesn't appreciate people as you grow older.
So yeah, so that is the answer, Gurumurthy sir. Then Trupti is asking, how do you see AI shaping job opportunities for women in the future? I mean, I don't think AI will differentiate. I mean, AI would truly be non-sexist. It would treat women and men the same way. Both of us will get fired. Yeah, yeah. It will be truly egalitarian.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, so for example, the one thing that we would be focusing on, at Eduinx going forward, is that we would be having some courses on what is known as agentic AI. Agentic AI is a way, in order to replace an entire business process using AI agents. So now it does not require a lot of programming and technical skills, but you're expected to understand what is AI, and you must understand the business process. So if you have that business way of thinking, then it is much easier for you to start building agentic AI. Okay, so just like we have generative AI, we're going to be having agentic AI soon, and the products are rolling in as we are speaking. I'm following up the developments as it is, right? So it is one place where women are not going to have a disadvantage. If you can think of business, it can be a women-centered business. It can be a kind of business which you are particularly focused on. There, you can add your own value. You can start building these things. So many of these things are going to democratize the way work is being done. So that is what I feel too.
Perfect.
All right. So another question: a school teacher who has experienced approximately 7 years, can he switch his or her career in IT sector? Answer is always yes. It may be difficult. 13 years experience in tourism. Shall I switch my career? 13 years is already a little on the higher side, but better late than never. But again, I would say that you have to answer you have to have the right reasons for that switch you're talking about. Okay, you should not switch because you're seeing somebody getting a very high package. Those could be aberrations. You should switch because you feel you can add value. You feel that, it is going to be a challenging career. You could learn more. If those are your reasons, I think you should switch. Otherwise, you have already invested 13 years in tourism. You should stick to it. Add technology to whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. So you should not burn the bridge there and get into a completely new job role, but you should work on them. Which jobs and roles are least likely to be replaced by AI? I would leave that up to you, sir.
See, the job
Because
roles.
I don't know, because in my
Yeah,
opinion, right, everything can be replaced by AI.
Yeah. The question is, if I take in HR, HR operations related roles will be, I'm just saying is, anything that is done mundane, repetitive jobs can be, all repetitive and mundane jobs can be replaced by AI. Everything. But can a customer interface related job be replaced by AI? That cannot happen. All the telecom companies are using, AI to answer questions, but all your questions cannot be queried. Ultimately, you then go to a customer service executive whom she gives you after. It's a pain after you make her answer 10 questions and then she tells you go there. So those cannot. I'm just saying is whether it's here or abroad, anyway, it cannot happen that. But mundane, repetitive jobs which employees do can be. I'm just saying is can be absolutely done. You don't need for example, in an organization where we implemented SAP, we stopped uploading CVs or anything of that sort. We gave one of the terminals was there with the consultant. He did whoever got selected, he uploaded, came to us, everything was ready. All that. So people who were doing that job got reduced. So there's lots that you can, I'm just saying reduce, but again, will a sales job be out of the window? No chance. You still need a sales, you need a customer relation guy, you need a marketing role, right?
That's the way they said, websites are not going to replace salespeople.
And
AI is not going to replace
it's not
salespeople.
going
There
to
was a
say
time
that.
when people thought, once I have the website, I don't need salespeople. That's not going to happen. You
That's
still
not gonna-
need salespeople. You need somebody to go and talk and negotiate. You need a custom product, right?
Right.
So it is not going to happen. Right?
The one more thing that I'll add to what Murthy was saying on shifting jobs. Okay. If you are shifting jobs, what I'll just add to what Murthy was saying is the other thing that you have to be careful about and you have to be mentally prepared that if you join a new job, which is from a teaching profession or other profession into third profession, you need to be ready to start from the beginning. And that's something.
Learnings don't translate that easily.
Yeah, that's more in your mind than anything. That time you can't think I've got 7 years experience, 8 years experience. Wo nahi chalega. There, if you join a good organization and you perform well, you surely will be promoted, go up the corporate ladder much faster than others because you're doing well and because of you being more mature and blah blah blah. But you have to be very clear on the mindset that you're going to start as a beginner. That's the thing which is important.
All right. I think that was a good discussion, sir. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking to you. Anybody else? Any other questions?
Thank
you,
Had
sir.
a good time.
All right. So I would urge everybody to kind of start thinking about what we had about discussions today. Okay. Start thinking about the more abstract things that we had discussed, because anything technical we can always discuss it in class and we can figure it out. But the things which are kind of out of our control, which are not clearly defined, we need to think a little bit more about them and create a mindset which is positive and which is kind of a fighting mindset that we have to create, right? So things are always going to be a little difficult until we get that job. Once we get that job, we have to focus on the career and focus on how we can deliver the best that we can. So all of those things, nobody can teach you in a single day. That you will have to teach yourself over very long periods of time. It is taking things one day at a time. That is one thing I always say. Careers always happen over 10, 15 years, not overnight. It takes a long time to build a career, to build networks, to build the reputation and the respect that comes along with it. It takes time. Your reputation and the job that you have is because of a whole bunch of people who are watching for you, right? So it is very necessary to cultivate those relationships, cultivate those friendships, cultivate that professional relationship and that reputation. that happens over long periods of time. And all of those things have to be, you have to start learning those things now. When we are doing the class, start finishing your assignments on time, ask questions, be a little more attentive in the class, try to understand why we are doing these things rather than doing things passively, right? So those are all habits that just transform over long periods of time. All right. So that is all that we have today in this thing. It is almost 4 p.m. So we'll give you the few minutes back. Mohammed, it is back to you. Sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really wonderful session. And for me, it looks like a conversation between artificial intelligence and human intelligence. You both are.
I
The
hope
conversation was like
I
that.
am the artificial intelligence.
You got me.
Yeah.
And Mr. Mukherjee was exactly like, human intelligence type with real-time experiences and examples. The conversation is really helpful for me and as well as for all the participants today. And I hope everybody enjoyed the conversation and learn a couple of insights or inputs from you. So thank you so much for your valuable time and giving
Thank
us
you
these
so much.
insights.
It was
Thank
a
you and
pleasure.
pleasure
Thank
being.
you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Bye.
evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.